Blueprints are used in Studiometry to help you add commonly used work and expense items to your projects. In this video, we'll go over how to create blueprints, how to use blueprints, and how you can add blueprints to your project templates. First question, how do we create blueprints? And before we dive into that, I want to go over why would we actually use blueprints. So I'm just going to go to one of our projects here and then go to the work and expense section. And let's say that for every website project that we create, we always have these same four work items. Every website we will have a monthly maintenance fee, and then we have design work and coding work, and then a setup fee for the server. Now for this project, we just entered all of these items manually by going to the project and hitting the new work item button and typing in the information, and then adding them one by one. What we could do is just create blueprints for each of these items so that they're stored as a blueprint in Studiometry, and then when we create a new project, we can just select them from a list of blueprints to easily add to the new project. So the first step to creating blueprints would be taking an existing work item from one of your projects and just converting it to a blueprint. And the easiest way to do that is select it in Studiometry's work and expense section, and then just right-click on it. And then from this contextual menu, we have the option to create blueprint from this debt credit. So when I click this, it brings up the blueprint editing window. And this is pretty much exactly the same as the work editing window, except that you can create blueprints from this. So we can see here that the description and the amount and the type have all been pre-populated from the work item that we had on the project. So when I hit OK, this is going to save this as a new blueprint. I'm just going to do this with one of the other work items, so we have more than one blueprint type, the maintenance fees. This is a recurring work item, so when I right-click on it and select Create Blueprint from this debt credit, we can see that the type is recurring, and we have all the recurring options here. I'll hit OK to save this, and now we've created two blueprints in Studiometry. So if we want to see what blueprints we've already created, or just our list of blueprints in Studiometry, or if we wanted to create a new custom blueprint that isn't based on an existing work item, we can go to our blueprint editing window, and we can get there by going to Studiometry's File menu, and then going down to Suites, and then selecting Blueprints. And this brings up the blueprint editing window. So we can already see the two blueprints that we created earlier in this tutorial right here. And if we want to create a new blueprint, we would just hit the plus button below the list. And this brings up the same blueprint editing window, but here we can create it from scratch. So I'll just create one quickly. Okay, so now we have three blueprints in Studiometry's blueprints list. The next step is how do we use these blueprints? And that's really simple to do in Studiometry. I'm just going to close this window really quick. And since we're already in a project's work and expenses section, I'll just show you how to add a blueprint to this project. It's really as simple as going down to this blue plus button on the bottom. The gray one on the left is to create a new work and expense item, and the blue one will let you add a blueprint to this project. So if I click this, this will bring up the blueprint adding window. And this window lets you add blueprints to the currently selected project. So to use this window, you just click the plus button next to any of the blueprints that you want to add to the project. You can actually click on the fields to customize the amounts or the names. But you can see that the defaults that we had earlier are pre-populated into these fields. And then when you hit add, it will create these blueprint items and add them to the current project. So when I hit add, it will create one sample blueprint for $150 and add it to this project that I have selected. So we can see there, I just with the click of a button added that blueprint to this project. Now, obviously adding one work item for $150 isn't a very complicated task in Studiometry, but if you're adding multiple blueprints or they have notes on them, or you want to select different rates or categories, or really anything that you can set up for each work item, that's where blueprints really will start to shine and start saving you time when you're setting up your projects or adding work to your projects. So as another example, I'm going to create a new website project and add these blueprint items to them to pre-populate the project with the default work items that we would normally add to a website project. So to do that, I'm going to create a new project by going to the plus button on the bottom left of the window and selecting New Project. And I'll enter in a name. And when I hit Create, we can see that the Work and Expenses section is empty for this project. Now, instead of having to go in and type all of the information or set up all of the different fields that we normally add to a website project, I'm just going to add those items as blueprints. So again, I'll click the blue plus button down here to bring up the blueprint adding window, and I'll just add the 3 blueprints that we normally add and hit OK. And then it will populate this project with the maintenance fees, the setup fees, and then the sample blueprint that I set up earlier. So it's really that quick and simple. Now we can take this one step further by adding our blueprints to our project template, so we don't even have to go in and add the blueprints after we create a project. We can actually have it where when we create a new project, we select the project template, and that will add the blueprints for us. So to set up a new project template, we're going to go to Studiometry's Preferences window and go to the Project Templates section. From here, I'm going to click on the plus button below the Project Templates list, and then I'll just click on the name to rename the template. Several of the things that we can set up here we go over in a separate tutorial about project templates, but for now I'm just going to select a category of website, and then I'm going to edit the blueprints for this project template by clicking on the edit button next to where it says blueprints. And this again brings up the same blueprint adding window. So from here I can click the plus button next to each blueprint that I want to add to this template, and when I hit save, we can see that there are 3 linked blueprints for my website project template. I'm going to close the Preferences window and then create a new project using the website project template. Again, you create a new project by going to the plus button in the bottom left of the main window and then selecting New Project. So I'll enter a name, and then this time I'll select the project template of website that we just created a few seconds ago. And then when I hit Create Project, it will select website as the category, and then it will also add the blueprints that we added to this project template. So I hit OK, and now we can see the newest website that was just added automatically comes pre-populated with all of these work items. So again, you can create however many blueprints you want. You can add them to projects manually using the Add Blueprint button here, and then you can add them to your project templates, so when you create a new project, it will automatically fill in your work and expense items with commonly used work and expense items. So that's it for blueprints. If you have any questions about this or anything else, please get a hold of us at support.oranged.net.